all you weebs, and today I'll be reviewing BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. I think I've come down with a bit of a cold, so if I sound off here, that would be why. Also, I will be referring to this as BB Tag throughout the video, just to make things more simple for me. For those who are unaware, this is a crossover between BlazBlue, Persona 4, more specifically Persona 4 Arena, Under Night In-Birth, and Ruby. Yeah, you could not choose a more random selection of series to cross over. So how does it fare? Well, we'll get to that. Story-wise, well, this is actually probably the best aspect of the game, surprisingly enough. Characters are all in character, and the dialogue is really great as well. It's kind of funny because BlazBlue is pretty well known for having a really confusing story. This story is kept pretty simple though, just people getting isekai'd and fighting and stuff like that. The first part of the story, that is, the one with the individual episodes. The 2.0 story, well, I won't deny that it did give some pretty funny scenes, such as the one with Jin, Vaish, Yumi, and Teddy all racing, but I really cannot stand the main protagonist, Naoto Kurogane. It's not the worst thing ever, and I certainly enjoyed it more than something like Central Fiction, but overall it's just rather bland, especially in comparison to the first part. Now, there are a lot of characters in this game. However, due to some idiotic person's idea, you have to pay to get almost all of them. This is by far some of the worst DLC practices I have ever seen. I'm not too big on DLC to begin with, but putting most of your characters behind a paywall, and even worse, making them all go in character packs, just really irks me. The reason I'm bothered with character packs is the fact that, say if you want one character, but another character in that pack you're not too fond of, well, you'll be forced to pay for them anyways. And I'm 99% sure the DLC is what keeps most people from playing this game. Of course, you don't necessarily need a ton of playable characters for something to be fun. For example, I love Last Blade, even though it has very few. But in the case of something like Last Blade, all the characters feel unique in how they play. In BB Tag, well, let's just wait till I get to the gameplay section. For now, I'm going to do a quick rundown of all the characters and try to make this as fast as possible. Ragnar the Blood Edge is actually not the edgiest character in his own series, despite his name. Personally, I think he's a decent character. He has a lot of potential, but Arxies are bad at writing stories, and they throw out basically all that potential. Jin Kisaragi is my favorite character in BlazBlue, mostly just because I find him to be really relatable. He's also one of the few characters that wasn't completely screwed over. Well, Vermilion is a character who I really want to like. I really like her voice acting and design, but she's just kinda mid in practice. She's starting to become actually a pretty good character through Chrono Phantasma, but then Central Fiction just threw that out and made her into the same character as the previous two games. Rachel Alucard is cool. She's cute and has my aesthetic. Iron Taker is a bro, and I'm pretty sure his voice actor also voiced one of my favorite characters in Daitoku, so that's pretty epic. Hakumen is just future Jin Kisaragi, so he's also my favorite character. He's also one of the few they haven't completely screwed up and has stayed a badass throughout the entire series. New 13 is cute android waifu Yandere, who is also totally best girl. Although her being a clone of Ragnar's sister and her loving him is a little weird, but I mean, I'm just kind of used to stuff like this at this point. Hazuma is pretty cool. He's voiced by Rance. He would have been my favorite character if it weren't for the fact that I feel like he just gets kind of sidelined and they completely kind of sort of midway through miss the point of his character, but otherwise I like him. He's probably my second favorite BlazBlue character. Oh yeah, also I find him pretty attractive. What? I'm a girl. Let me have my moments like this. Makoto Nanaya is just kind of furry bait. No thanks. Platinum the Trinity is by far my least favorite female character ever, and is one of the biggest reasons why I've just become kind of meh on BlazBlue. It's one thing to be annoying, but it's another thing to personally offend me. Tsubaki Yayoi, or in this form, she is Isayoi, is pretty cool. She's Jin's love interest and is overall just a pretty nice character. Granted, I think her character could have been done better, namely with how she kind of gets sidelined a lot, but I like her. She's cute. Azrael is annoying and ugly, and I hate his design. He does literally nothing to contribute to the plot, and I cannot stand him. Silica A. Mercury is admittedly kind of a guilty pleasure character for me. I know she's not really the best per se, but there's something about her that I just really like. I think I just like how she's really nice, and I've always been a fan of characters who happen to be mages. Speaking of mages, Nine the Phantom also is one. She's another guilty pleasure character of mine. She's kind of crazy, and it's kind of whack that she's married to Jubei, who's a cat, but I can't help but like her. Naoto Kurogane is, whoo boy. He's bland, dense, and overall pretty much just everything I hate in a main character. Like he's supposed to be the equivalent of Ragna from another universe. That is the most fanfiction-ass plot I have ever seen. I really, really do not like Naoto, and he's a big reason as to why I was not as big into the 2.0 story. I could talk in more length about why I hate him, but I'd rather not do that. Susanoo is just kind of like there. I don't really have many things to say about him. He is like super overpowered, but the final boss fight against him in the 2.0 story was like so easy, so that was pretty funny. S has a cute design and a cool sword, and she's just a literal reference to Saber, but I don't really like her very much. She's just kind of boring. Mai as a character is fine, but dear God, I cannot stand her design. Something about her pants just bothers the ever-living crap out of me. And to round out the BlazBlue characters, Jubei is pretty chill cat dude. I like him. Yu Narukami is a total Chad, and his theme in this game is the entire reason I ever got into Persona. He's definitely my favorite character in here. Yosuke Hanamura is a best friend character in a visual novel. I think he's pretty rad. J.A. Satonaka is spunky and cool, and her social link is cute, and she's voiced by Yui Horie, which is pretty epic. Yuki Kawamagi is downtown Aviland. I like her a lot. A lot of people hate her, but they're just wrong. She's epic. Kanji Tatsumi is a tough guy delinquent who is actually a pure boy at heart. He's pretty relatable as well. Oh yeah! Teddy's an autistic bear mascot who I think is really cute, and I just want to give a hug to him. No, I'm not weird, I swear. Naoto Shirogane should have been the protagonist of 2.0 because I really like her a lot. She's cool, and I ship her a lot with Kanji. Also, while this may be subject to change since I'm currently playing Persona 4, right now she's my second favorite girl. Okay, well, kind of. It's really hard to choose the second best girl in that game. Mitsuru Kirijo is, well, she's actually from Persona 3, which is one of my favorite games. I really, really, really like Mitsuru a lot. Yeah, there may or may not be overwhelming praise for Persona 3 characters. That's just because I really like it a lot. Also, from the moment I saw Mitsuru, I just thought she was one of the hottest girls I have ever seen. Akihiko is the literal GOAT, one of the greatest characters of all time. I mean, he's voiced by Hikaru Midorikawa. I think that kind of goes to show just how amazing he is. He's just absolutely phenomenally written, relatable, and someone who I strive to be like. Ayas is another really well-written character. While she's a bit on the overrated side, I do think she's really adorable and quite relatable as well. Koncho miseru de arimasu. Elizabeth is autistic, cute, and cool, and she's voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro. I like seiyus, a lot of you couldn't already tell. De gozaimasu. Labrys is, well, she's alright. I think she's decent. I don't really know why her voice is so high-pitched, though. It's kind of weird, but aside from that, she's a good character. It is I, Toru Adachi. Yeah, Adachi's awesome. Nothing really more to say about him. Now on to Undernight and Birth. Hyde is really awesome and one of the goated beasts. Lenny is cute and relatable because I too am super short, and possibly might be related to Ryoga Shiki. Whoa! Waldstein is a Chad. Carmine is just kinda eh. I'm not really too into him. Aurier is thick and got that Senna aesthetic. Gordeau is Indian, a scythe bro, and is voiced by Junpei Iori, so that automatically makes him an SSSSS tier character. Batista is Precious Lolly, who reminds me of Ilya if she was mixed with Yuyiko and became a robot. Please protect her. Merkava is my least favorite of the UNIS characters. I just really do not like him very much. Seth is totally my favorite of the UNIS characters, though. I really like him a lot. Anyone who knows me well knows I love my edgy rivals, and he completely fits that role. Yuzuriha is cool. She reminds me a lot of Tamaki from 2 Heart 2, so that's pretty raw. Hilda is thick and has the Dark Lord aesthetic. I like her a lot. And Mika is really cute. Like Linny, I can relate to how short she is. Also, her intro with Akihiko is one of the most adorable and pure things ever. I love it so much. Now on to the Ruby characters. I admittedly have the least amount of knowledge on Ruby. I watched the first season a few years ago, but I kind of forgot about most of it. I do remember that Ruby was my favorite character, and I'm pretty sure a big part of it was because she had a scythe. I'm pretty biased when it comes to things like that. I remember Weiss Schneid being my second favorite character. I always thought she was cool, no pun intended. Something about her I just happen to like. Blake is just kinda not my kind of character. Ying is also not really my kind of character. But it's made even worse with her because fighting her is literally the worst thing in this game. Whenever she does her special move, the music changes to her horrible thing. It really bugs the crap out of me. I don't really have any feelings on Neapolitan one way or another. She's just kind of there. Now onto the guest characters, we have Heart. I know! Ah! I really love Arcana Heart a lot. So Heart is probably my favorite character in this game, aside from Yu Narukami. Actually, in some ways, she might be my actual favorite, though, now that I think about it. Heart is literally me, IRL. I love her so much. Seriously, don't play this game, man. Play Arcana Heart 3. That is one of the greatest games of all time. Next is Yumi. She comes from Senran Kagura. I admittedly don't know much about her or Senran Kagura, but I think she's pretty awesome. I like her seiyuu a lot, which definitely makes me want to check out the series she's from. Akatsuki is most well known for appearing as a guest character in Utter Night In-Birth, but he originally comes from a doujin game that if I remember correctly, is called Akatsuki Blitzkampf. My pronunciation is probably really bad on that. Regardless, Akatsuki is a total bro. And if there's anything about him that I will remember, it's that he reminds me of a particular character who I happen to have quite the attachment to. Please play Daibancho, guys, I'm begging you. Blitztank comes from the same game that Akatsuki is from. I don't know much about him, but he's a tank, and tanks are pretty cool, if I do say so myself. As for characters who I'd like to see in, even though I'm pretty sure this game is dead, well, I like Bang Shishigami a lot. He is not necessarily the deepest character ever, but I think he's funny, and his theme is one of the greatest in all of BlazBlue. Gokonoe is pretty rad, and especially because she's voiced by Haruko from Muv-Luv. Yukari Takeba is my favorite girl in Persona 3, so the fact that she hasn't been put in yet is one of the biggest sins ever. She really don't miss. You guys ever think about the fact about how dated these videos will be when going back on them because of my constant use of current not edgy, what am I going on about? Cringy slang. I think about that sometimes, and by sometimes I mean really never. Also, I realize how long this video is going to be. Oh boy, I really hope this doesn't kill my phone because I'm running low on space for me downloading so many songs and so many pictures. Ooh, it's hard for me to breathe sometimes. Kanemata and also Koro-chan, but I couldn't find a picture of a render of just the two of them for some reason, and their normal forms that is one of my favorite characters to play as in Arena Ultimax. Him not being in is also a sin. Also Megumi Ogata Goat. Seeing as Junpei Iori is my favorite best friend in the visual novel character ever, hell yes I want him in. He is unironically like the greatest character of all time, and the fact that I can't beat up BlazBlue nerds with him is making me mad. Arxes, I know you see this stuff. Please listen to me in this regard. Please just put my boy in. He deserves it. Rise Kuchikawa is my favorite Persona 4 girl. When I say she's literally me, I really mean that she is literally me. Also, like with Kinemata, she was one of my favorite characters to play in Arena Ultimax. So, you know, I'm more than a little angry that she's not been put in yet. I know a lot of people wouldn't want Phonon in because she's a pretty cheap character, but I like her a lot, and her theme is so great. For some characters outside of the main series that are crossing over in this game, Saki from Arcana Heart would be great. She's one of my favorite rival characters, and I just like her a lot in general. Hisui and Kohaku would also be really great. They're my two favorite characters in Tsukihime, and I mostly wanted to put them together because you really can't have one without the other. Of course, though, I'm pretty sure if they were going to put in any character from Tsukihime/Melty Blood, they would have put in Arcoid so she can have dialogue with Rachel. It'd be cool, but I want my girls in. They deserve it. So now that I'm done with talking about characters, and my throat is starting to hurt a lot, oh boy, I'll talk about the gameplay. Admittedly, the gameplay of BB Tag is, well, when I first played, I enjoyed it. After playing it more and more, though, well, you literally just press buttons to win. And this is coming from somebody who is not the best when it comes to fighting games. But when I say this game is easy, I mean that it is easy. Even on the harder difficulties, it's still really easy to rush through enemies really quickly. It's a shame because I think this game has a lot of potential. Too bad that Arxes only really knows how to make things that are just mindless button mashes. One of the biggest problems also is the fact that this game has auto combos. Listen, I don't want combos to be done all by themselves. I want to be able to do them myself, not with any assistance. And on top of that, all the characters feel like they play the same. While this problem, I will admit, does exist in Persona 4 Arena, it's definitely not there in UNest. So the fact that all the UNest characters play the same really goes to show how Arxes tend to develop games. And trust me, this was a thing I found in BlazBlue also. When it comes to playing online, well, at least on Steam and on Switch, the game is pretty dead. Granted, when I played it on Steam, it was back in November or December, and that was before the 2.0 update came out, but I had recently logged on to see how alive it is on PSN for the sake of making this video, and yeah, it's really, really pretty dead. I've heard the game is rather popular on Switch, but I don't have it on Switch. And I, in general, just don't really like playing online against people who aren't my friends. It just isn't my cup of tea, and it really makes me feel weird. I can't really describe it very well. Surprisingly enough, though, the art is one of the stronger aspects of this game. It's pretty nice and pretty beautiful also. While there are some character designs that I'm really not fond of, overall, I think the art is nice. I don't really have many other things to say about it. The sprites are nice and rather expressive. If there's anything Arxes is good at, it's making sprites that are really good, and backgrounds that are really detailed as well. Along with that, all the astral finishes and stuff like that feel really flashy and are fun to look at. If I do have a problem though, it would just be the lack of CGs in general. You get like, what, one per story mode? I think what could have solved this was if they had either a longer story mode, or if they gave the characters arcades. And what I mean by with the arcades is if they did something like how, say for example, SNK does it, where if you have certain combinations, you'll get a full story mode and a specific ending. That'd be great, but I don't expect much from Arxes after, in Continuum Shift, literally all the arcade ending CGs were just the exact same with a character superimposed on it. Seriously, it made me not want to complete all the arcades at all, or any of them for that matter. Also, can I just say that the character select screen is one of the most inconvenient I've ever seen. Like, seriously, just make it so you can display all the characters at once. It's not that hard. Make it something like, say, for example, the character select screen in, not Calamity Trigger, in Central Fiction. Soundtrack-wise, well, the thing with the soundtrack is that pretty much all the songs come from other sources. And they're not bad at all. In particular, I really like Yu Narukami's theme. But the fact that they aren't original does kind of take off points. They could have at least remixed them or something. If I remember correctly, the only original music are the various versions of Crossing Fate, which are just alright in most cases, and the Ruby songs, in which case I really only like Ruby's. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad soundtrack whatsoever. I just kind of wish that there was more things original about it. So do I recommend BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle? It's hard to say. If you see the complete version of it with all the DLC for relatively cheap on sale, then yeah, you can pick it up. But I wouldn't really recommend paying $50 for this. It's not the worst thing I've ever played, but I definitely think I could have used my time playing it in much better ways. However, I can appreciate the fact that it did get me into Under Night In-Birth and Persona, which I do love those series to death. So yeah, I'm sorry I haven't really been making reviews as frequently as I usually, or used to do. I keep saying I'll try to make them more often, but I keep forgetting to do so. So again, sorry about that. I have some things planned to do, but I don't really want to do them all at once. But for now, bye weebs.